Hello, Flosstube. My name is Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches, and this is my Flosstube update number 249 for September 17th, 2022, for those of you keeping score at home. This is probably going to be a quickie video. I say that every week. May or may not be true. But it's probably only going to be, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. Because I don't have a whole lot to talk about. I say optimistically. Been doing, a few life things. We're getting ready for my father's memorial, which is coming up this week. And so we're, gonna have a few family members here and getting stuff ready to take to the church for the service and all that, and just sort of like it's oddly like a lot of logistical things that have to be taken care of. So that's been going on, and just various things like that. So I've been, but I've still been trying to do some stitching, but in between just getting tired. And the other day, we went, we were running around and it was kind of hot, and I don't remember, I wanted to go to get a dress for this memorial service. And so we went somewhere, like, I don't know, McDonald's or something like that. And so I was looking for a trash can to throw away the bag, the food bag and stuff like that from this place. And so we went to, it was Lane Bryant. We were going to go there to look for clothes I was going to look for a dress. And but so there was a trash can, but there was like Lane Bryant, and there was an empty storefront, and then Michael's, and the trash can was over there by the Michael's. So I walked over there to throw the trash away. It was hot. It's been very humid here. We've had a lot of rain, and so it's been very muggy. But so I walked over there. So I was already hot from doing that, and walked into Lane Bryant, walked kind of almost to the back, where the cash register was and the clerk there, and I decided I needed to go to the restroom, and I didn't want to have to be going, need to go while I was trying to look at clothes, because, you never want to do that. And so, but of course they didn't have a public restroom there at Lane Bryant, so they said the closest one is at Michael's. So here I went, out again, out there to Michael's, and then all the way to the back of the store at Michael's to the restroom. And the restroom was hot, and, just, you know how it is. And so by the time I got back to Lane Bryant, I was already hot and sweaty. And then I was, walking around the store, looking for clothes, looking for dresses and whatever, saying, oh, this might work, or this might work. And then finally went to go try them on, and, and then what was really bad was trying to put my shoes back on. It's hard for me to begin with, and at home I can sort of, sit down and do various things to get my shoes back on. And in the store at Lane Bryant, there wasn't the same kind of room, and my legs felt very crampy, I think from walking so far, walking all the way to Michael's and all the way back to, and so when I was trying to put my shoes on, my calves were getting, were kind of cramping, and I couldn't, it was just like an ordeal to put my shoes on. And so by the time I got out of there, my hair was just dripping sweat and everything. And my sister, I was waiting to check out, I guess, and there was another lady checking out, and I think Eve had already checked out, or had just checked out her purchases. And Eve looked at me and said, you look terrible. You look like you're about to pass out. And so they, they made me sit down, and one of the clerks there brought me some water. It was just like, I didn't really feel bad, but I was dripping sweat. So yeah, it was just not a good time. But I did find a dress. And it was on sale. It was like a $89 dress, and if I'd have known that it was going to be as on sale as it was, I would have maybe bought something else too. But it was on sale for, and it was like under $60. It was like $58 or something, or you know. So it was a pretty good deal, and it's a very nice dress. Anyway, so that was one of the ordeals I had this week. But on to stitching. And this week, starting on Sunday, was my 10 days of WIPGO for one of my projects. The other one I'll be starting it next during the week, this coming week. But so along with my WIPGO, I've been working on this little bookmark for a friend of ours who is a friend of our family who is doing the memorial service for my father. He was a good friend to my father. So this is my original initial design for this bookmark that I'm calling "Look to the Hills." I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. Psalm 121, 1 through 2. So this is my initial design. And I like it well enough, but I decided I would make a few changes. So, like, it was a little too, like I said last week, I think, a little too samey. So I stuck another sheep in here and I rearranged this a little bit. And I made this sun, see the little rays here? I made them a little different. And then I also, this says P, that's an S. It looks like a Z, but it's an S. But I put an M in there also. PSM, Psalm 121, 1 through 2. So anyway, this is my initial design, and I changed it a little bit. And so on the little chart that I have, this is like a picture without the grid lines and the symbols and all that. But so I have the chart that I was working off of that has everything on it, and so it's all scribbled on. So he's like made some changes and stuff like that. So this is the finished product, and I finished all the basic stitching yesterday, and then I decided I was going to back stitch along this border, because the way I'm going to finish it is I'm just going to measure a little distance around this border and then fray it like this is frayed here. But I didn't want it to fray into the border, basically. So you can just see that there's a backstitch line around this border. And I deliberately chose a thread color that's very similar to this fabric, so that you can't see it, which made it very difficult to stitch. But you can't really see it. And so with the fraying that I plan to do here, I don't think you'll be able to see the backstitch line at all. You'll just see the border. But so I shifted these sheep around a little bit and added a third sheep there. And I made the rays of the sun a little longer and there's a few more of them. And I also, this is, I doubled the thread. I used 2 threads here to make these little rays, because that one looks weird. Like I should have done the angle differently. I don't know. I always had trouble with the rays like this. I've used them before, but I always had trouble, putting them in the right place. Anyway. But I used 2 threads here because to make them show up a little better, and these are long stitches rather than strictly back stitches, like over just like one length at a time. So everything in here, I use long stitches, like for the legs of the sheep, And for some of the words here, use long stitches rather than strict back stitches, right? And then, like I said, I added an M here, PSM. Yeah. And I used colonial knots rather than French knots for the eyes and the periods and stuff like that on the words. But so that's a finish. And hopefully, and I'm gonna iron it and like I said, fray those edges, and it'll be done. But so that's for our friend and pastor Byron. So there's that. So that's what I spent a lot of the week doing. But also at the same time, I was working on my WIPGO. So I started that bookmark kind of last week sometime, and then into Sunday. So then I was doing it at the same time. I would like alternate. I would do the little bookmark in the morning and this Ship Serenity by Ronnie Rowe designs in the afternoon, evening, I guess. And so this is from his pen and ink series collection, whatever. Ship Serenity. It says the pen and ink cross-stitch collection is a series of one-of-a-kind, carefully detailed publications designed by award-winning designer Ronnie Rowe. He's done a lot of great, street scenes and various things like that. So, but he has several ships, I think, different ships, and I like this. This is Ship Serenity. So I started. I think I was thinking this was the front of the ship, but it's actually the back of the ship where I started. So I've done those 4 sails on top, and I'm working on this one back here now. And so I have a long way to go. And I will, if I'm lucky, I'll finish this sail, this back sail, if I'm lucky. And I don't think I'll finish. I don't think I'll be that lucky. In the remaining days of this that I have for this project, but yeah. So I'm working back here. So I'm using DMC 823 here, and so when I started, I had done, like, there was a gap right here that I had not stitched, and I had not stitched any of this. So in the last since Sunday, I finished this sail here, and I finished up that little gap that was right there. So these 4 sails are done. And then I started on the back end. So I'm working on that sail there. This is where I am right now. Is working on this one. So like I said, I have a long way to go on that one, and only a few more days to work on it. I think I had a picture here. Yeah, this is where I was when I started. That big hole there. I had to fill in, and I had not done that top sail or the sail in the back. So yeah, that's where I was when I started last time. And so, like I said, so I've made some good progress on that. As I was saying before, on the Three Sisters video that I was talking about, that, I usually am out in backstitch. I don't know if it's the Danish method or whatever it's called, but anyway, where you do like, like this, one leg of the stitch, and then you go back and cross it. So right now I'm working on this section right here. And I also, but I'm not averse to doing 1X at a time. I've done that as well. And it kind of depends on a couple of things. Some people do that for variegated threads, and I've done that. But I remember Steph was talking about a few weeks ago, I guess, about stitching out and back with variegated threads also, instead of 1X at a time. And it's just a different, gives you a different look in the variegation. And it just depends on what you are going for, what your preference is, whatever. She generally stitches on higher count fabrics with 1 thread, and I generally stitch on like 28, 32, 28 or 32 count fabrics, and I stitch with 2 threads most of the time. I have done some, like the Rabbit series that I've done, calls for silk threads, and it calls for 1 thread. The models, I think, are stitched on 36 count, and I'm stitching them on 32 count. But I'm using, one silk thread over 2 on the 32 count Murano Carré fabrics, and it's fine. The coverage is good. It's a little sparse in some places, but it looks fine. It looks fine. This is 2 over 2, and I love using the loop method. That's what I use primarily, and it's like I said, this sort of out and back kind of stitching. And the only thing is, it takes a lot of, like, you have to look at it and decide, I'm going to go this way so I can come back, and then I'll go this way so I can come back. And, and actually, for me, because of the way I am, I do that with, if I'm going to stitch 1X at a time, I have to think, which way am I going, and where am I going to end up, and then where does that take me to go back, to come back 1X at a time this way, and then 1X at a time that way, and whatever. So, and I'm not averse to carrying threads. I'll show you my backside, as they say. So in some places I will carry a thread, but usually not directly over a hole. So, at a little bit of an angle like this here, this thread is carried, but it's at an angle so that you can't see it from the front, And the reason it's carried is because, this gets very pixelated here with these individual X's. So anyway, but yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so that's Ship Serenity by Ronnie Rowe Designs. And it's a big old honking ship. So I'm going to be working on that for the rest of my life, I think. Anyway, let me get that out of the way. So, starting sometime next week, let me look at my calendar real quickly. Probably Thursday, yeah, the 21st, which is the day of my dad's memorial. At some point on that day, maybe later that evening, is the beginning of my 10 days on my other WIPGO project. So that one comes up later on this coming week. And that's another, actually another one of my ship projects. I think I've mentioned it a couple weeks ago. Running with the Wind. And we'll see how that comes over those 10 days. But also, I've been wanting to participate in with the cross stitch camp. Sherry Berger has some variation. I think I've talked about this before. Has come up with a way to incorporate cross stitch camp, and sampler September, but giving us from September to December to work on a sampler. And I've been wanting to participate in that. And it's, September is, half over already. But I have a few different options that that I was thinking about, and I haven't pulled the trigger on any of them, so I don't know. We'll see if I get around to doing it. I want to. I just, haven't had the time because I was trying to get that bookmark done, and I have some other things that I have to do and all that. But so my options are this Chessie and Me bunny sampler. And there's a little, it's hard to see, but there's a little bunny. It's hard to see the picture. But there's a little alphabet on there, and there's a little bunny. And just very, very cute. I really am thinking about that one. I got that from the attic, and I don't have offhand what the date on that was, but it's been around for a while because it was in their sale bins. It was on sale, but so it's only 49 by 57, so it's pretty small, like 3 by 3.5. It's the size of that, inches, 3 inches by 3.5 inches, on 32 count, and so I might do that. And the other options are, now this one isn't, you could call it a sampler, but it's not strictly, but I love that. It's so pretty. Now this one is 91 by 91, so it's a little bigger. This is a Blackbird Designs from their Loose Feather series. That's one of them. The Last Ripe Berries is what that one's called. And this one, She's Like a Bird. I talked about this one last week also. And this one is more strictly a sampler. There's a little alphabet there, and there's a cat and 3 birds there in this one. And this is also, I think, 91 by 91. Yeah. So it's not very big, like 5 by 5. On 36 count. So probably a little bit larger if I do it on 32 count. I don't know if I may or may not have a higher count fabric for it, higher than 32. But yeah. So I do that. But like I said, I don't know which of those 3. The more options I have, the harder it is for me to make a decision. But so I want to start one of these this month, but it remains to be seen. If I can get a little bit of a start in this month, because it's this month is a little bit crazy. But now that I've got the bookmark done, I'm still working on the little memorial piece for my dad, and I think I'm gonna try starting over on a different fabric and see if I like it a little better, the look of it a little better. I just haven't gotten around to doing that because I wanted to get the bookmark done in time to give it to Byron on the 21st. So So I still have, you know, my dad's little memorial piece, and then I want to start on one of these, and yeah, so along with my WIPGO piece, and I have some stuff to do on the computer that's gonna take some of my brain power. So we shall see. All of those things coming up in the next just, you know, 2 weeks, I guess. But so like I said, I have a few more days on the ship Serenity, and now that the bookmark is done, I can either work on the piece for my dad, or maybe also one of these pieces for Sampler September through December, as part of the camp. So I think that is probably going to be it. You know, and there was some phrase I was thinking, oh yeah, I should say that as a sign off, you know, every week, because I always struggle to sort of like, oh, some like, you know, like Just Keep Stitching, you know, they have, you know, they have a normal sign off that they do, you know, every week, and I thought there was some little phrase that I had come across that I thought, oh yeah, that'd be a great phrase to use to sign off with, and now I don't remember what it was. I don't remember. You know, well, I don't know. I don't know what it was. Anyway, so, but despite that, despite not having a snappy sign off, I will see you next week, I believe, and I will have switched WIPGO projects, and we'll see if I've gotten a start on a sampler for September, and I think that's about it. Is there anything else I was gonna mention? I'll probably think of something as soon as I, you know, sign off or whatever. But I think that's it. I don't have any haul. I restrained myself this past week. Yeah. So okay. So I'll see you next week, and you know, keep going. Those of you who are doing Sampler September, I can't say that. You know, good for you. And I'm gonna try to join in on that. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. There was something from Luminous Fiber Arts. I have to go to the website, to the Luminous Fiber Arts. I think they have an Etsy. She has an Etsy site. Misty Purcell of Luminous Fiber Arts. She has a series of, I think there are, I want to say there's 6 altogether, like 6 little ones, and a big design, a bigger design, in her Mousecopade series, and it's sort of a Christmas or Christmas winter series, and it's just a absolutely adorable little mice, and I don't have a picture of it here handy. Let me see if I can get to one real quickly. But they're just adorable, and she started talking about them some time ago, and I wanted to buy them right away, but I think they weren't all out at the time, and so I wanted to wait and see, you know, like if I was going to get them all, or what. And let me see if I can get them. If I can get a picture of them up here. Well, I don't know if there's a picture of it. Let's see. Okay, there's a few different ones. There's one with, I don't know if you can see these because my phone is kind of blowing out. There's a reindeer going over the roof, and there's a mouse. Oops, sorry. I made the mistake of touching the screen. It took me to the Etsy site. Anyway, there's like, there it is, mouse going down off of the roof there, going off the roof, skiing off the roof, and a reindeer over it. And there are a few different ones like that. But there, I think she has a, a border that you can use to, like, if you want to stitch them all together as one. But so there are, like I said, I think there are several in the Mousecopades series, and so you can do the individual. Yeah, let's see if I can find. Here's one. So there looks like the mice are like Mr. and Mrs. Claus with a bag of presents or whatever, and yeah, filling Santa's bag. That's Mousecopades series number 5. So so they're just really, really, really cute. There's another one, Mice on Ice. Here. Yeah. So, like I said, I was wanting to get here's another one where they're sorry. Yeah. Trimming the tree there. And these are really hard to see on my phone, sorry. Anyway, I'm wanting to get those now, and I was looking at the attic for them, but I don't know if I was not looking in the right place or whatever. But and I just hadn't ordered them or anything like that. But so I'm still thinking about it. But anyway, that's another one that's on my radar that I think I'm going to get. I don't know when I'm going to stitch all the stuff that I'm getting, but anyway, so that is it. I will see you next week, and until then, keep stitching and have fun. And I'll see you next time. Bye.